Hi, welcome to this video. I am Tin from Tin and Max, and today we're doing a tier list. As you've probably figured out, it is a Resident Evil tier list. And you might be wondering, hey, Tin, you've already done this like 2 years ago. And that's true, but if you would just give me a second, I will explain. Okay? Alright, that last one was, like I said, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'm not entirely sure. And since then we've had at least two mainline games, Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Village. So we'll see where they fall on the tier list. And we're also going to be doing the tier list differently. Our criteria is going to be different this time around. That last video I took into consideration with each game their overall impact on the series and, gaming in general. A lot of public perception went into how I rated the different games. My own opinion kind of took a back seat in certain instances. So this time around, it's all me. It's all what I think, my opinions. I'm gonna ignore everything else about the game if I can, and we're gonna do it based on that. So let's start with Resident Evil 4. Obviously, the first one on the list. We'll just go in order. It is an S tier game. Always, forever. It's just great. It's amazing. I know it hasn't aged well in a lot of respects. I personally hate the quick time events so much. They're so terrible and dumb, and they suck. But the rest of the game is so good that honestly it doesn't really matter. I genuinely think this game is a masterpiece, especially considering when it came out. And I know I said I was going to ignore this, but I kind of can't with this game. The impact it had on gaming as a whole, like it's hard to ignore that. And even outside of that, I just think it's a fun game. Next, we have Resident Evil 6, and this is another easy one for me. I freaking love this game. I know it's not the most beloved. I know people have their issues with it, and they're valid. I understand the dislike for this game, but it's good. All right, I enjoy it. I think it's dumb fun in a lot of ways. I think it's peak Resident Evil because it's got dumb action, terrible one-liners, insane monsters. It's missing the horror quite a bit, but I don't know, man. It's great. This and then this and Resident Evil Vendetta, the animated movie, are just some of my favorite bits of Resident Evil media because of they go to the extremes that the series has plenty of extremes, but I feel like those two specifically are the extreme of the extremes. And you can play it co-op. I will say I think the thing that kind of holds it back, for me even, is the story. I think they're doing too much with the multiple campaigns, even though I kind of get what they were going for with the different campaigns supposed to be harkening back to different like periods of the series. Like Leon's was supposed to be a survival horror-y. Chris's was like the action heavy kind of side. And then I think Sherry's was supposed to be like some kind of like nemesis thing or something. I don't remember. But they're too convoluted. They're too connected but also disconnected. They should have simplified it quite a bit. I think I get what they were going for, kind of like an end game thing, pre-end game obviously, but it could have been handled better. Next, look. Look, Venge, you don't even have to say nothing. I know, all right, it's me. This is a me thing. I don't like this game. And that's not even like the complete truth. It's not that I dislike the game. It's just there's more about the game I dislike than I do like. So I guess I dislike the game. I don't know why I said that. The whole beginning section, while cool the first time you play it, on subsequent playthroughs it becomes very tedious and annoying, and I know it doesn't take long to get through, but I have very limited patience. And I also hate first-person stealth with a passion. Hate it so much. And then it also ends on a really lame section with the tanker that they make you do twice for some reason. And just the middle part isn't good enough to make the experience overall positive for me. So yeah, that's kind of why it ends up in C. I will say it has some pretty... I don't love most of the DLC, but I think they did a great job with the DLC and the post-game content. I think that there's a lot to this game that's good, but for me there's just a lot more that's not. I did a whole video about it if you're curious. If you want to see why in more detail, check that out. Resident Evil Remake. Bam. And look, I'm just going to throw ahead this one up here because In my original video, I didn't have both of them on the tier list because because I thought they were basically the same game. People corrected me, and looking back at it now, I'm standing by that. I think they're basically the same game. I know they're not. I know this one has a lot more going on, and they included cut content, and you can dress Jill and Chris like they're Resident Evil 5 versions. That's cool. Don't care. They're like, they just kind of fall in the same vein for me. And the thing with both of them is I understand that they're some of the best survival horror there is, especially the remake. And I get that. I do enjoy playing them. They are a lot of fun. But as someone whose first Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 2, I prefer the over-the-shoulder, third-person entries in the series. So that's kind of, honestly, as dumb as it sounds, that's the thing that kind of holds these back the most for me. Is I don't like to fix camera angles. I don't like the tank controls. Oh my god, tank controls, the worst. So that's kind of why these end up here. Not to say they're not good games. I just have more fun with other games in the series. Resident Evil 0, I've never played. I'm gonna put that in D. Nemesis, RE3 Nemesis. I put that probably in B behind these because, like, I think it has a lot of cool ideas, and I think even though it was never supposed to be 3 in the first place, I think it's a really great entry in the series. A nice little cap to the Raccoon City phase of the story. I think it's a lot of fun to revisit. It has a pretty decent replayability even within like a genre with already pretty great replayability. And Nemesis is cool. Nemesis is great, except for in that movie where he's terrible. Next, we have Resident Evil 2, which is an A. I like all versions of Resident Evil 2. All right, I'm not gonna get too into it. It's fun. I like it. There's clearly a bias because, like I said, this is while we're talking about it, Resident Evil 2 is my favorite game in the series. It's the first one I played. It's the one that kind of had me fall in love with the series. And I just really enjoy it. I like it a whole lot. I just think it's just really well done. In terms of a remake, it's kind of amazing what they managed to do with it. I think it's just great, man. And like, maybe its impact on gaming could be viewed as a little bit more negative than positive because now remakes are coming out of the woodwork, but this one still remains one of the best games I've ever played. I love this game so much. It's a C. Honestly, it might be a higher C than Resident Evil Village or 7 because it's third person. I just prefer third person, and that's not even to say that this is a bad game. I don't want to say that because in a lot of ways it plays similarly to 2. My biggest hang up with the Resident Evil 3 remake is I bought it full price, and I regret doing that. I don't think it's worth full price. Even if you enjoy the game, I don't think it should have been full price. It's not a $60 game. There's not $60 worth of content there unless you really throw yourself at 100% completion, which not everyone's going to do. I think it would have been better served as like a companion game to Resident Evil 2 or even like DLC for it. It's only like 6 hours long or something on average, and that's about the same length as the Separate Ways DLC for Resident Evil 4. So like, I don't know. That's just not worth $60. Still pretty good. Not as good as the original. I think that about covers it. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Honestly, and this might be recency bias, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 4. I think it's my favorite game of the year. I've put so much time into it. I platinumed it. I 100%ed it within the game because there's the in-game challenges. I did all of those. And I never really got tired of it. I think there was a big period between long times of playing it, but it was just really good. And then Separate Ways came out, and I love that too. That I think is objectively better than, maybe not objectively, that's the wrong word to use, but I think that's better than the original Separate Ways. It was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, man, I don't know, it's just fun. I think it plays amazing. I think it's another great example of, like Resident Evil 2, a great remake, a great reimagining of the game. It feels like a remix of the original story and locations, and it's just great. Even as someone who played Resident Evil 4 quite a bit, Resident Evil 4 Remake felt like a fresh experience, and I really appreciated that. Resident Evil 5. Oh, there we go. D. It's a D. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, it's better in co-op, you gotta play in co-op. I haven't played in co-op. Max and I were thinking of doing it for the channel, so if you want to see that, then let me know in the comments down below. But so far, I have not played in co-op, and I don't enjoy it. Single player. I like Leon more than Chris, so I don't really... It's harder for me to get invested in the story, honestly, because I don't really care about any of the characters. Wesker, I guess, but not for the right reasons. I like Jill now, but when I first played this, I didn't really know anything about her. So again, didn't really care. Maybe playing it co-op will change my mind, will change my opinions on it. We'll have to see. God, Mickey, you see the cat? She's just gonna want back in. She's just gonna want back in. That's right. Find something to do. Find some business. Resident Evil Village. This is an interesting one. I don't think, revisited this in the last couple years. Last time I played it, I think, was Shadow of Rose. Whenever that came out, we did it here on the channel. Check it out. We also actually played this on the channel. We also played Resident Evil 3 on the channel. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I like Village. I like it more than 7 for sure. I think I like it more than all of these. I'm gonna put it here, I think. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. I like Village. I think it did a great job of continuing Ethan's story. It's in a lot of ways a love letter to the series with the different kind of locations it takes you to. It has one of the creepiest moments in a Resident Evil game in like a very long time with the fetus, the giant evil fetus, which literally I think it hit different when we first played the game, because at the time I was a new father. My first son was like around the same age that Rose is in that game, ironically enough. And baby crying was, I don't know, it just hit different at that time. So I think that kind of helped. I'm really interested in checking out the third person mode. I haven't really done that yet. Like I said, I haven't really revisited it, so I'm not sure what that says about it. I want to try third person because I think that could honestly make it even better. I know it wasn't built for third person, and it's probably a little janky because of that, but I like third person. What can I say? Shadow of Rose also was cool. Bit pricey for what it delivered. And a bit what's the word? I don't know. The whole being within a not physical plane, because it was all in the Metamaisics, is cool, but it's less interesting than most of the rest of Resident Evil, which is in reality, quote unquote. So yeah, that's just my general thoughts on those. Here we go. This is it. This is my updated Resident Evil tier list. I don't think it's that bad. Some of these games I need to replay. Resident Evil 7 is definitely one of them. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that. It's just, it doesn't click for me personally. At least it hasn't yet. Doesn't mean it won't. I don't know. I like the series, and there's more of these games I gotta play. I still gotta play Code Veronica, which is probably getting a remake next, if that leaks to be true. So we'll see where that lands. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Tin from Tin Max. Let me know your favorite Resident Evil games down in the comments. Berate me for my opinions on the game down in the comments, and I will see you in whatever I do next.